in the chat. Edward Okot, you're welcome. I see Brian here, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
You're welcome. Let's know where you're joining in from. John Paul, you're welcome. Let the chat keep flowing. Currently, we are on Zoom. We are also on YouTube. Just in case network tries to play games with you. Bernard, you're welcome. I see here Helen from Toto. Kabarole, you're welcome. Helen Wataba, you're welcome. Bernard from Muyonga. Let me see who else is here. I'm a card login from the Prayer Mountain. Saguko. Pere, John Paul from Pere, you're welcome. I see a Josephine from Chira. You're welcome. The Mutibas, welcome from Boyevaja. All right, I see Mrs. and Mrs. Mizora. Matuga. That's the highway. You're welcome from Matuga. Ita from Mbarra. Is it Mbarra or Mbarara? Ita from Mbarra, you're welcome. I see Violet Lucy Nyacho from Wakiso. You're welcome from Wakiso. Yeah, we thank God for technology. Okay, let me see here. Who is here? Violet Chuanga. You're welcome, Violet. Violet Chuanga. Keep the chats flowing in. Keep the chats coming in. We'll starting shortly. Let's see how we're doing. I see how you know Queen. Okay. All right, we're going to start with the prayer. Viola Chiwanga from joining in today. Thank you for joining in today. I see Mrs. Florence La Palpini from Gulu City. You're welcome, Florence from Gulu. Thank you for repairing the northern connection. Keep the chats coming in. All right. Let's let's get started. What's on YouTube? Let me see. Thank you for joining Family Life Network monthly parenting seminars. We have these seminars every month. All right, what's that? I see the charts here. The charts. No one in the charts yet. You're welcome. The good thing that our presenters are here, our facilitators are here. Mr. and Mrs. Langa are already here. It would be nice to have Tamara on the call. Tamara, are you there? Okay, let's pray. Let's start an opening prayer. I'll give an opening prayer and then start. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We give you blessings, we give you honor, we give you glory. We thank you that this day you allowed us to join together as parents of this generation. We live in different times, Lord. We've come here today under the feet of the Holy Spirit. We come here for guidance, for teaching. We ask you that you teach us how to be parents. How to be parents who are going to teach children values, morals, and character. We come to our facilitators, Mr. and Mrs. Langa. We come to this meeting, we come to the parents who are joining in, the parents, the men, the youth, even the children who want to really get this information on how they can be children with values, with morals and character. That's VMC. First with your welcome. In Jesus' name of prayed.
48.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, let me see what is in the chat. Patrick says, thanks, Aladit, Stephen Langa and BeatriceLanga. Aladit is the Igwe, it means what? Edward, Mr. and Mrs. Okot Omoya. Mr. and Mrs. Edward Omoya and Susan Omoya from Nalamonye, you're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. Patrick, what's the meaning of Ladit? Is it an honorable title? Okay, that's
Ladit is teacher.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for that.
Ladit is teacher.
I thought it was a kind of honor like Igwe, you know. Okay, Sam Peter Okello has clarified. Ladit means honorable, means both. Okay. Thank you for joining us again. Allow me to hand over to Tama. Are you there? Let me see here. Tama. Just a moment. Thank you. Okay, what's in the charts? Family life, human life from Nigeria. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Here in Uganda, it's 4 p.m. I don't know what time it is in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, keep the charts flowing in. Mr. Robert Ndiav, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. At this moment, allow me to welcome Mr. Robert Ndiav to give us opening remarks about the Uganda National Parents Network and then how it blends in with the Family Life Network. Thank you, Mr. Robert.
Yeah, thank you very much for this invitation. My name is Robert Ndiabarema, and by God's grace, I'm the chairperson of the Uganda National Parents Network. So I will give a brief background of what the National Parents Network is. First of all, we were formed, we came together in 2001. This is now over, this is over 20 years ago. And we came at the time when the families were, especially the parents, were meeting a big challenge. And so we came up with a vision of building a new generation of parents. 2001. This is now over, this is 22 years now, 23 years. So Uganda Family Network is 23 years, and our vision still stands. It is the same, it has not changed. And our vision is building a generation of parents who will raise a new generation of youth with positive mindset, values, morals, character that will come together and then make Uganda a great nation. And our vision is building a generation of parents. Hey, I can see an echo. Are you recording something? I don't know what is happening. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, maybe you have two gadgets. I hope you don't have two gadgets.
No, I have one. I have one. I can continue now.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
I can continue now. I think there was a mishap. So that is our vision as, and then we have a mission because our mission is strengthen families by promoting strong marriages and responsible fatherhood, positive parenting skills, positive mindset, and again, rebuilding the values, character and the morals of the parents using principles based on the truth so that they can become role models who replicate themselves in their children and enable them to have what it takes to make Uganda a great nation. And regardless of our beliefs, our tribes, our race, our political inclination, and our social and religious background. So we are formed to revive and restore responsible parents, especially fathers, responsible for bringing up their children, and then also equip parents with positive parenting skills under a creative parents training so that they can raise children appropriately and become better role models for their children. Equip parents with positive values based on truth so that they can become better individuals, better parents, better spouses, and be able to have the authority to peek into the lives of their children and change their mindset based on their values, morals, and character. The character that can be transcended into children so that we are able to prepare a great nation, Uganda. Then empower parents so that they can effectively engage in advocacy of matters affecting families, children especially, and advocating for morals, good education, social services, etc. And so perform our social responsibility as parents. Then equip and empower parents with information and skills that will enable them to successfully parent their children in the context of globalization and the global cultural warfare. We are formed to do that, and I think you may agree with me, or you agree with me, that the way we are now in Uganda is that children are different, they appear to be a different entity, parents are a different entity, and there is no coordination, there is no cohesion, and so problems begin to emerge with children becoming unruly and not respecting their parents. So we come in to put in programs that can help parents have skills of be able to nurture children that fear God and are able to maintain the morals. So through programs under the Uganda Family Life Network, we have a course called Creative Parenting course, which I think I need to encourage each of us to attend when an opportunity arises, that you'll be able to know how to nurture the children that will bring a good generation for the future. And then as to where we conduct monthly virtual parenting seminars like the one that we're having today. And we believe as many parents as we can, we mobilize them worldwide to attend these seminars. It's not only fixed for Uganda when we do the Zoom, even all Africans, all the world is invited to attend these seminars. We also conduct parents-children seminars, and we give talks when invited, especially in institutions, schools, and universities. And we go and present ourselves as parents talking to our children who are in those institutions. We're also involved in counseling marriage personnel, some person, and children whose behavior really unwanted. We try to come in and help bringing up children that really fear God. And then we advocate in the protection of the family, institution, and morals. You are aware that the families especially are at a crossroad with many vices coming in and would not know where to go. But when we combine our efforts together as parents, we'll be able to fight these vices. So through such a seminars, we call upon people like the seminar we're having to understand how we can raise our children, how we can bring children who are God-fearing, children whose values are better and whose values can be passed on to the next generation. So we are here at Uganda National Parents Network, Life Network, that we can inculcate good behavior amongst our people, and specifically our emphasis, yes, the mothers, but the most important thing that we try to advocate is to bring the fatherhood into the equation of bringing up families that fear God. Fathers, if you are here, I think you need to mobilize as many fathers as we can, because fathers have neglected their responsibilities and they have left their families to the ladies and to the wives, and the children now think they are under one control of one parent. So the fathers have a very big role to play, and therefore we want to mobilize as many fathers as we can to come and participate in these seminars and get skills, build their skills of how to parent, and change their mindset that the family is a whole unit of a father, a mother, and children, and that we'll be able to, as I said at the beginning, we'll be able to build the values and character of these children and their morals, so that these good morals and characters are passed to the next generation, so that we don't miss out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll stop here, but I want to just pass this invitation that as many men that have attended to this seminar, please invite at least 2 men or 3 men, so that at the next seminar, which we are going to have in November this year, we'll have many men participating in this seminar. As I want to appreciate the effort that ladies are putting in, and I think at one time we'll also be able to appreciate the men who are really taking it upon themselves to attend such a seminars. Before I end, we thank Stephen Langa and BeatriceLanga for the effort they have made to make the family a good institution that people can come and work together and build together and network, so that the challenges that are facing families are put at bay. With that, I want to thank you for listening to me, and I wish you great listening as we invite the next speakers to talk about the seminar for today. May God bless you, and let's keep listening until the end. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Ndiabarema, for the great opening remarks. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you again. And my name is Tama Sembiro. We'll continue from there and invite our friend and brother Brian to talk about Bang. We also have Jackie, and then we have Mr. John Mugabe with a testimony. Brian, please come and take on and let us know more about Bang. And then some testimony from CPC by Jackie, and then we shall have Mrs. Mugabe. Is it Mr. Mugabe or Mrs. Mugabe? Please take on the microphone, Brian. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tama, for this wonderful opportunity. So good evening, everybody on the call. And I'm here to present to you just a brief report that came through from the Bang Boot Camp. So the Bang Boot Camp is just a holiday residential camp. It's just a holiday residential camp and a conference for teenagers that usually happens in the holidays. And it is an activity in the bank mentorship program, which is a program under Family Life Network. And so this activity, you know, it fulfills one of the objectives of the bank mentorship programs. And that specific objective is to provide a platform for the youth who to be sensitized, to be equipped, to be empowered, to develop character and a positive mindset and positive attitudes and transformational leadership within them. And we do that, you know, by building their lives on sound values and proven principles such as moral purity, hard work, integrity, proactiveness, patriotism, you know, that genuine love for our country. And this is irrespective of the political affiliations. So we also do this through empowering them to have honesty, self-control, self-governance, and these ones are one of the things that will surely push them to be autonomous and candidates for future happy marriages and also stable marriages in future there. So these youth, we also anticipate and think that through all this, they will have what it takes to make Uganda a better place to live in, yeah, and a great nation. Because now we see so many complaints on the youth. Our pressures are put on the youth, and it's evident we are living in a generation where even youth don't know what is happening to them. Where you ask them, why do you do this? Why are you addicted to drugs? And they also don't know. They have no answer. We live in such a generation. And so through this objective, we think that youth, we anticipate that youth will turn out to make this nation a great nation. Well, I'm not going to speak so much. The boot camp happened from the 5th to the 7th of September at Green Hill Academy. And with just those little words, I would like to have parents, just 2 parents, to give testimonies and a feedback of how it felt sending their teenagers to this boot camp. Some thought it was a military boot camp, but indeed it was a values boot camp and a hub for the teenagers. So I would, on call, I'm very certain we have Madam Luande and then also Madam Ochom. And first and foremost, I will invite Madam Ochom to take it on from here with a testimony. How did it feel sending your teenager to the boot camp? Over to you, Madam Ochom.
Thank you so much, Brian, and to all the organizers of this seminar. I'm privileged to be here. I may not be able to turn on my video, but I just want to speak a little bit about the boot camp, what happened, how did it come, how did it start, and how did I get my children there. The views that I am going to present are personally mine. They are not going to be taken on anyone. I just want to express what I felt from the whole boot camp. First, I didn't know about the Family Life Network, but from one of the platforms of the school, in England House of King's College Budo, I saw this link and I joined it. And I kept on listening and I thought what was spoken about was really good. So from then on, I kept on, whenever I had the time and the data, I kept on joining to listen. So, well, at a certain point, I was like, it looks like these seminars are basically to promote positive parenting. And then they also talk about successful parents. And then I'm like, I think I'm not so successful for reasons best known to me. So based on that, I thought when the flyer about the boot camp came in, I thought, well, this is now an opportunity. I know I have a role as to do parenting on my children. The father is a distant person working very far. So really, we have not really had, he particularly has not had really a lot of time with the children. And you know, being teenage boys, I thought it would really, this is the time that really the father needs to take an upper hand. But to me, I was like, okay, this is now an opportunity for me to have other people talk to the children, despite the fact that the father is working so far and doesn't really have a lot of time with them. I'm like, okay, this is now the time. BeatriceLanga and the other people behind the Family Life Network, I thought this was a good opportunity for my children. So now there was this issue of mobilizing the resources. I had to do a lot of justification to have the idea sold to the father to give us the money. You know, I have 4 teenagers, and I really needed that all of them should attend this boot camp. I really had to do back and forth justification, including getting a write-up from Brian about the Family Life Network. What is it about? What are they going to benefit from? So I was in that crossroad. And here, the children are not so well aware about the boot camp. When you talk about boot camp, they're like, what? This is a military thing. What am I going to do there? I was really torn apart. I'm bringing this as a background. So eventually, I succeeded to get the father pay for it. It was 150,000 per child. And now here I am, I have 4 children. Somehow he paid for it. Although it was all school fees is around the corner, at a certain point, I didn't have to answer some questions. So I just prayed that he pays for it. So to cut the long story short, the boot camp was paid for. Now the issue is, why bring the children? As a person, I felt that this was an opportunity for these children to get exposure. It is going to be an opportunity for them to meet with other friends. But to me, the most thing that was pushing me was that at least somebody, some other male, older person should speak to my children. Because there are certain things that I can speak on my own, but you know, when you're the one always talking to the children, guiding, directing, rebuking, correcting, it becomes monotonous. And at a certain point, maybe the children, you know how the children are. So I saw this as an opportunity to have other people speak to the children about family life, about values, about morals, and so on and so forth. And to cut the long story short, the children are there and they are attending the workshop. So in me, this was really the best thing to happen to the children. So what are some of the things that the children learned there? Like Brian has already mentioned some of them. I just want to speak about the testimonies that the children gave in while they were there for those 3 days. First of all the children, all my children, the 4 of them, were really very grateful. Even the one who was saying, oh, now, mommy, I'm in senior 6, my colleagues are at school reading, you're here telling me to go to the camp. Well, he went, and at the end of the day, at the end of the 3-day seminar, he was the one testifying how very important this seminar was. So all the children were talking about BMC, BMC. You know, at that time, I had not really got to know what is this BMC. So like they have already shared, it's about values, morals, and character. So they really, I think that VMC really touched them. The children were grateful for the opportunity and also promised to change in terms of responsibility, Bible study, prayer time, communication, and so many other things like decision making. In fact, later when I saw the pictures that were sent and all the children were humbly praying, and in my heart, I was like, what could my children be praying about? And you know, it was such a short time between the seminar and the time to go back to school. So I have not had the opportunity to talk to them what they were praying about, but I want to promise that I am going to follow them up and ask, what were you praying about? I have your pictures and I am going to show them. They will tell me what they were praying for. So the children were grateful. Others are like, I will use my BMC to build a good and happy relationship with others. Members, these are very big things that we cannot just take. When a child talks about building a good relationship with other people, in your mind, you should be asking, so does it mean inside him, he has also been knowing that the relationship that he has been having was not good? So that is one other reason why I am really grateful for this boot camp. The children were talking about true love waits. And you know, as parents, some of us are even finding it difficult to talk about love, marriage, sex, what and so on with our children. And that is one other factor that really encouraged me to send the children there. And children were saying, I want to thank my parents for the continuous support and ask them to never stop believing in me. How in your ordinary house environment can a child tell you that kind of thing? So it was through that camp that the children are asking us parents to believe in them. Imagine. So the other one is the other testimony. Children were really grateful to the parents for the camp. It has impacted me and encouraged me to impact others. The children continue to say that they should continue taking us to the camp to discover new things and to discover ourselves. It meant that the children had never discovered themselves. But again, if the children have discovered themselves, what about you, the parent, and me? Have you discovered yourself? So the children are discovering themselves, and us, the parents, have not yet discovered ourselves. Well, the children are learning, for us, we are here. So I hope that we should be able to also join the parenting course that the previous speaker has just been talking about. Well, the number of testimonies that the children really spoke about the boot camp, I want my parents to know that I am going to change the way I believe God and will perform to my potential. He wants or she wants her parents to know. Members then know that there's a lot that children want us to know, but we don't know. So let's keep encouraging this, or let's keep sponsoring. It's expensive. It's not easy. We learned to behave better as Christians. Those are the children speaking. I'm truly grateful, though I may not show or express. Well, those are other children. Much as they are grateful inside, they don't want to show. It means that there's a lot for this one to come out to eventually open. And then eventually, bang was a very good experience. For me, I was like, what is bang? Bang simply means becoming a new generation. Bang. I never understood what bang was until the day of pass out. That is when I understood BAM becoming a new generation that has decided to live by our own motto, for God and my country. So at the end of those 3 days, the children also saw a BAM declaration. There was a declaration that is written, and the children had to swear it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really want to take all your time. I just want to say that actually on the last day, even we, the parents, had a share of our learning. Yeah. The Stephen Langa took us, Elder Stephen Langa took us through a lot that we parents are really heavy laden. We have a lot of load on us that sometimes we even don't know how to get out of. Sometimes we offload our frustrations, our problems, our burdens to the children. Sometimes we tend to close up on them and suffer inwardly. So we also had learning. And I thought that 1 hour learning was not enough. We need to go for more. Well, I think that there's a lot that we as parents need to help our children. Well, some families really may be perfect, but as a person, me, with my family, I think there was a lot that I learned from there. And if resources allow, I would want to take my children back there, because we're like, is it the same content that you share? No, the content is not the same. And by the way, my son, who is the older, who was the oldest of the team there, he was the only S6 person. He was wondering, what am I doing here? At the end of the 3 days, he was the one saying, Mommy, I think this was the best thing that you did for me. And if opportunity allows, I want to be part of the volunteers in the Family Life Network. And I thought that was really a big thing, that a positive impact for me. In fact, I didn't even know that my son was really good at public speaking. That was the first time I was seeing my son expressing openly in front of other people. I was impressed. So I want to conclude by appealing to all parents. Let's give our children an opportunity through these programs, and also request the Family Life Network to increase publicity. This is a very good program, but it's not really well known outside. So with that, I really want to thank you so much for the opportunity, for making a comment about the BAM program. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Maria Ochom, all the way from Lira. And in a nutshell, can I pass it over to Madam Rwande Pamela, just before we hand over to the moderator. Madam Rwande Pamela, please take it on.
Brian, I hope I'm loud and clear. I'll make mine brief.
Yes, please.
Good evening, parents.
Good evening.
I'll give a quick wrap up. One, I'm a proud auntie, and I was privileged to bring 3 boys. 2 are siblings, and 1 has been raised by a single mom. So the 2 boys appreciated most the affirmations and the quiet time. Why the affirmations? Because it's not every day that they get told by their parents the good things about them. So the environment enabled them to discover the good aspects in themselves, and the quiet time helped them to reflect. And the result of that, their attendance in the camp, is that now they are calmer, they are managing their emotions better. So I'm really happy about that. And then I have one boy, Isaac, he's from a very different environment. So coming to Green Hill, first of all, it was very good exposure for him. Different environment from the village setting. He is not very good at interacting. It was one of his challenges, and we encouraged him. So next season he's coming back. He has improved in terms of hygiene. They don't have to remind him time and time again. He enjoyed the games, especially football. The games highlight for all of them, and the games were. And let me see. We have the parents, as the lady has said, we benefited from a parenting talk, which was very good. And generically, in regard to the camp, I loved the hospitality. We got all the information we needed. Right from the gate reception, it was good. You knew where to go, and the security, we were very we knew that our children were secure because we were not allowed to go beyond a certain point. The venue was very good. And we pray that there will be a few more days next time, hopefully, at least 4. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is it for now. Thank you so much. Kudos to Family Life Network. And another big concern was the numbers. So I hope parents don't worry about the numbers. They were very well managed. And I was assured that they will look at not more than 50 children. So don't worry about your children going in Kayola. The numbers are well managed. The facilitators are very adequate, and they are relatable to the students because they are young men and young ladies who easily relate with our children, boys and girls. Yeah, I really want to thank you. And of course, Uncle Steve, thank you so much. They loved it, although they were saying, oh, Uncle Steve, he really lectures. So I don't know how you're going to balance that. Yeah, but generally it was fantastic. Thank you so much. We shall look for more people to come because they really need the knowledge. And parents, please go for these seminars. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pamela and Mariam, for that wonderful testimony. And even right over now, let me hand over back to our moderator. Please, Tama, take it on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian and the team, for giving us great testimonies about Bang. We appreciate greatly. Thank you. We have 2 more testimonies, ladies and gentlemen, and I request the next people to keep it brief so that we delve into our talk by our elders, Engineer and Mrs. Langa. I would like to call upon Irene. Irene, please unmute and tell us more about CPC, after which the Mugabes will also unmute and tell us more, another testimony. So Irene, please take it on. Thank you.
Good afternoon to you all, wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Irene Mudanye. I'm attending currently the course for creative parenting, and it has been very, very beneficial, very helpful. I just want to say thank you to Engineer Langa and Auntie Beat for the work they are doing in us, the parents. I joined it because I have 3 biological children, and I'm looking after 6 others, not really my own, but we stay with them and we take care of them. So why did I join? I know it's important to get all this knowledge. Sometimes we may think we know, but the moment you start to join and get all these lessons and get to know what the environment we are in, that we are raising our children at the current moment, it is kind of very tough. So I joined because being a parent is a tough job. It's not an easy job. I used to work in the bank, but we decided, we agreed as parents, I step down and be there in time for our children. So yeah, raising them has not been very easy, but with the help of the parenting course, it reminds you, it teaches you really what to do. One in point is to be there as parents. We have a role as parents to be there for to raise children, our children. If you don't be there in this generation that we have right now, it's a generation where there is a race for our children. We have pornography, we have drugs, we have all these things. But through family for the creative parenting, we've been learning the importance of being there as parents for our children. We are supposed to be the allies. Many times we don't create that environment conducive for our children to come and ask us questions. And where will they go? They will go to their friends who will tell them lies. They will go into drugs. They will go into all these things. But because we are there, we're supposed to create that environment for our children to ask us questions. Trust me, they have lots of questions. Now, when they are still young, that is an opportunity that you have to impact into them. When they were young, my children, they used to run after me. They would go wherever you're going. And that is a time when you can impact into them anything. But if you're not there, you're leaving them to the TVs, you're leaving them to the maids. Who is going to give them that information? So our creative parenting is teaching us the importance of us being there for our children, being there, answering their questions. You have to create that conducive environment. Now I have a daughter, she's a teenager right now. My older ones started working and really I had time for them. Now this one, I think we all make mistakes. So I kept on, trying to compare her with the older ones. And this caused a lot of problems. So after learning from the course, I would call her and tell her, why haven't you done this? Why? So she told me, Mommy, you know why I don't want to talk to you? It's because you're reprimanding me all the time. So I said, I need to step back. So I stepped back because of what I learned here. So now you talk to her, tell her, hey, I like what you did here. Right now we are good friends, and I like that because of family life, for creative parenting. So I want to encourage all parents, especially the young ones. We are seeing so many marriages, especially the young ones, that are separating because they don't know what they got themselves into. But if we encourage them, and if you could sponsor them, parents who are here, I know most of us may have young children. This is a time to speak into your children. Have time. Maybe start Bible studies with them and create that altar on a daily basis to speak into your children. Have time with them. No one is going to parent your children better than yourself. So let's not leave them to the TVs. Let's not leave them to the social media. We know what is happening there at the moment. So yeah, I want to encourage very many parents, all of us that are here. Yeah, we have teenagers, we have adults, even Engineer Beatrice, Engineer Langa, and Auntie Beatrice. They all have older children, but they still learn from us and still parent. They don't stop parenting. So every opportunity we have, let's get time and go and learn and learn. So every day we learn, people share with us their experiences, and it's been very beneficial. We learn this course. Currently, we're in the second module, and it's from 8 to 10, and that will be after work. Most of us work during the day, so 8 to 10. The people behind this thought it would be very conducive. It's a sacrifice. So if we want our children, we need to sacrifice this time so that we can have a future generation, like Robert shared, the vision and the vision for Family Life Network. So it's important that we create that time. Yeah, I just wanted to share and encourage all of you, whoever, if you can sponsor your cousins, your brothers, sponsor them so that they can be able to attend this course. Thank you. I will turn back to you, Madam Tama.
Thank you very much, dear Irene, for that great testimony. I concur with you. I was in the pioneer class of 2006, and CPC made a big difference. It impacted me so much in my parenting journey. I have great testimonies, and I thank God that I enrolled for CPC, and I'm the kind of mother and wife I am today because I learned so much in our first CPC. Thank you very much. Please welcome the Mugabis. Request that you summarize because we have run out of time already. The Mugabis, please.
Thank you, Tama, for inviting us for the meeting. I confirm that you can hear me. I'm on the road. My name
Yes,
is
you're
John
loud and
Mugabi.
clear. You're loud and
My
clear.
name is John Mugabi. I think for the sake of time, I'm going to give an opportunity for my wife to testify. Susan Nakate, she's on the call. She can be able to speak to us about the transformation that happened in my life. When I signed up for the men's meeting, we want to have a twist that this time it is the lady who testify for the transformation journey that happened in my life. So Susan, you're welcome to the call. Just use a few minutes to tell of God's goodness for what happened in our lives. Susan?
Thank you, honey. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Susan, you're loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll go straight for the testimony. My husband and I were in our early marriages. We had been married for a year, and then he lost a job. And I think I would say all of a sudden he changed. He wasn't the man I had thought I had gotten married to. His excitement was gone. His hope was gone. He had no one to talk to, and he trusted no one. At that point, I was so discouraged too, though I tried to pick up myself and pray. As I prayed, I thought he would change. I would talk to him. I would tell him everything, a plan, ideas, let's do this, let's do that. But he was too angry, like he could not listen to it at all. He would run up to defense. He would run up to saying, no, you think I am not able to provide. And the argument would not go the right way. The discussion would just go the wrong way. Well, I looked to God and prayed. I prayed that God, my husband would find someone to talk to, and God would transform him. It didn't take long. In the church where we were congregating, they called for a meeting to train men. Well, they called for two gatherings. One was a prayer gathering, and another one was for men, a training for men. And to my surprise, he was choosing the one for prayers. I was still disappointed, but I kept on praying that he would accept to go and be trained and be mentored in the men's classes. I didn't know what they do too. It was my first time to hear about it, but I thought it would be a good idea for him. So then we talked about it, and then later on he agreed to join the men's training mentorship program that was happening. And when he joined the mentorship program, the first Saturday he went there, he came back when he's all full of promises. He was telling me, I'm going to change. I'm going to be a different person. I've met these people. They are good people. But because of what I had experienced and what I had gone through for almost 1.5 years, I could just not believe it. I thought he was just trying to please me, make empty promises. So then he goes again, now I need money to buy the books. I just kept on and gave him the money, and then he continued and went on for that training. And when he went on 1 month down the road, I could say that he was a very changed man. He was truly transformed. He could now understand what I was talking about. He could talk, he could listen, he could take care of our little girl who had already given birth to a little girl. He could take care of her, and it was no, he was all changed because of the training that he was going through. So in addition to the training I've been listening into, I think it's really important for the boys to be mentored and to be trained, because through those trainings, I thank God for the husband that I have now. Thank you. Well, I cannot start my video because I am driving. I will not be able to coordinate it too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. God bless you for that. Where is your honey?
My honey, Mr. Mgabi John.
Yes.
The honey is on the road. I'm on my way to to Lira. So
Yes.
I'm on my way to Lira. My network is intermittent, but I would like to say just one thing that about building the boy child. I'm pleased that with Family Life Network, they are doing these camps. They're bringing people together, and it's about a family, because when the devil attacks the family, he has attacked the very fabric of society, fabric that helps people to get back in line. For me, when I went for the mentorship class of the men, I came back and I was zealous about also helping other men to be better men, because we believe that when you help a man and put them back in the position they are supposed to function in, they will be of a great resource to their family. Believing that also any man by himself is an accident waiting to happen. I did life alone, and I was so much affected in so many areas. But because I started doing life with other men, I started being
We seem to have lost you. Have we lost you?
Accountable. I started relating with other me. With me, I've been able to now husband vineyard. So I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to share our testimonies, and thank you so much for inviting us. God bless you. Back to you, Tama.
God bless you. Travel safely to Lira, and thank you for the great testimonies. I see people in the chat room requesting on how to join. Alex is going to share the information and the link which we can use to join the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. And we are going to proceed with our program. We thank you all for the great testimonies about Family Life Network and the different programs that we hold in there. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome our very own vision bearers, our elders, Uncle Steve and Aunt Beatrice. Very, very vibrant people. They never grow old. You know, just look at them. They don't grow old. Recently, we celebrated their 40th anniversary. We congratulate you again and again. You're looking so lovely. Welcome back from your 40th honeymoon. And so we would like, so we would like to hand over the microphone to you so that you take us through this wonderful session. Members, please make them feel welcome in the chat room with those virtual hand claps and flowers, because they are still Bagole. 40 years, can you imagine? Wow.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Tama. It is indeed wonderful to just go through, the honeymoon again, actually. Yeah, we're going through the honeymoon again. And we are here in Gulu. Can you imagine what technology has done? We are here in Gulu in our hotel room. And, it's amazing. John is on the way to Lira. The wife is somewhere else. I mean, we are so grateful for technology, really, that can make this happen. I know that we have some people also from outside of Uganda, and we are just excited at what technology has done, and we are thankful for God making available this kind of platform and the technology to help us meet. Indeed, I'll just ask Beatrice to just tell you a little bit about our 40th anniversary, which happened in August. We told you about it, but between the last time we spoke at the beginning of September, something big has happened between that time and now. Honey, please.
Yeah, those of you who were there for our Thanksgiving service, Thanksgiving for our 40th anniversary, and also for Steve's 70th birthday, which took place at the end of June, our married cell treated us to an all expenses paid trip to Bangkok, Thailand. So about 2.5 weeks ago, we came back home from 9 wonderful days in Bangkok, and we are so grateful. The theme in our church is Awesome God, Do It Again. And we are saying to our marrieds, our friends from our marrieds and our friends here, do it again. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It was a very restful, relaxing time. And it was good to get away. And Steve's phone was still ringing, but this time he knew that if he answers even for 1 minute, it would cost him too much.
Too much, yeah.
So thank you for being there. Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
Right. Good. So thank you, members. So today we have a very, very, very important subject to talk about. Yes, let me see. Yeah, is it this one? Yes. Yeah. Aha. I just want to begin by giving you a picture. That was a picture, yes. That was a picture on our 40th wedding anniversary. That was the Thanksgiving, the day that we celebrated on the 18th of August, 2024. All right, so let's go straight to our big subject. And the big subject is teaching our children values, morals, and character. Yes. How do you teach our children these important things? Now, to begin with, we just need to quickly paint a picture of where we are. Where are we now? What is the situation? And I think we're all probably aware of all this, but let's just play a bit of it. Yes. Now, this 36 is a little bit old. The new one just came out this past week, so I'm going to update, but things are not very good. But you could see here that at this point, we had 7.3 million households, and 30% were being headed by women. And the big question is, where are the men? So you straight away see that there are problems. Then, a big population are not marrying. The New Vision called me when the report came out a couple of days ago. I said, Mr. We see that the reports are showing that people are not marrying. Why? So you can see that it's already an issue. It's a national issue right now. Of course, gender-based violence is and defilement. It's really bad. Our youth, 45% into drugs, and this is not good. Then corruption. In 1996 was the 43rd most corrupt. Consider that number 1 was the very most corrupt. We are number 43. But in 2018, we jumped from 43rd to 26, meaning that our corruption is getting worse and worse. Then drinking. Last year, it was mentioned by the World Health Organization report that Uganda is the drunkest nation in Africa. In other words, we spend more money on booze than we do on school fees. Can you imagine? More money goes to the breweries, the brewery industry, than on education. And then this article here says Uganda's underage drinking a time bomb waiting to explode. You know, this is where we are. And then accidents, 40% of accidents are due to drunk driving. You see, then during COVID, things were really, really worse than they are now. And then towards the end of last year, a report came out that 30% of Ugandans have mental illness, according to a survey done by Makerere University and Butavika Hospital. You know, all this shows you the state of affairs in our families. Then look at the youth. This study also came out last year that 20% of our young people, now these are teenagers from 13 to 19, have actually had suicidal thoughts. Yeah, 20%. And out of those 20%, 11% have actually attempted suicide. It's only that they didn't succeed, but they tried. Now, this is very, very serious. Now, of course, fatherhood. Now, this one, I don't need to really spend much time, but we've talked a lot about the state of fatherhood, that 10% of fathers have fathered a child and are not aware. 40% have fathered a child and are aware that that child is there, but have abandoned or neglected. 45% live with the child, are involved in the life of the child, but do not connect. They don't have a relationship. And only 5% of fathers actually have a relationship with their children and actually look after them properly and well. What this shows is that we are a fatherless nation. We are a fatherless nation. And all these things that we're talking about, point to it. Now, if we had time, we would have just reflected that as parents of today, what do you say about this state of affairs? But because of time, let me not spend more time on that. Let me just continue. But obviously, this is something which all of us who are adults must really think about. Yeah, this is a state of affairs. Now, so as parents, don't forget about the youth. Just ignore that. But as parents, only have two options. One, to just continue. You say to ourselves, this is Uganda. Nothing can ever change and so on. That's one. But the other one is to say, no, enough is enough. And we need to become a new generation of parents who will be different and who raise a new generation of children who have values, morals, and character, who will actually make Uganda a great nation. Now, our prayer is that most of us, those of us in this call, should make that decision to become a new generation of parents. Now, the million-dollar question is, how do we start? Where do we start from to become this new generation? Well, the true story is told of the Chinese who wanted to live in safety. And so they decided that they would erect the Great China Wall, because they figured it is so tall, no enemy can climb over, and it's so thick, no enemy can punch a hole in it. But in the first 100 years of that war, the Chinese were invaded 3 times by the enemy. And each time, the enemy didn't need to climb over or go or punch a hole. All the enemy did was he just came, bribed the watchmen, and gained access and attacked China. So the lesson there, therefore, is that before you build anything, you need to build human values, morals, and character. That must come before building anything else. Before you build your government, before you build your nation, before you build your marriage, before you build your parenting, before you build your economy, before you build your military, before you build your education, anything, before you build your family, first build values, morals, and character. And then you will be able to. Now, Hannah, we've been doing some reading on this whole thing of values, man, character. I don't know. Is there anything that you want to add? Maybe some quotation, that just can help members to really see the importance of this.
One of the things that we've already learned is that the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world, which means that whoever is teaching the babies, the little ones, is the one who rules the world, because whatever you're teaching those kids is what they're eventually going to practice and to be.
Yes.
So in our attempt to teach values and morals and character, we need to go to the cradle. We need to go to the nursery. We need to go back to first principles. Don't waste time. There's no time that a kid cannot learn. They are learning right from day one. Actually, even in
the womb.
Even in the womb, they are learning.
A child is learning.
Yes.
Yes.
So then also that again points again to the role of mothers, because mothers are the ones who have the first and primary relationship with the baby, spend the most time, especially those newborns. And John Adams, who was, I think, the third president of the United States of America,
Anyway, whatever.
He was one of the first.
One of the first
American presidents. Yeah. He said the manners of women are the most infallible barometer to ascertain the degree of morality and virtues in a nation. The foundations of national morality must be laid in private families. Otherwise, schools, academies, universities, if instituted, when they're instituted and loose principles and licentious habits are impressed upon children in their earliest years, these universities will not be able to do anything. They can't do anything because the early years of this child have had loose principles and bad habits. So mothers are the earliest and most important instructors of those children. So VMC, you have no time. You have no time. You cannot go on leave and you cannot wait for next week. The time to begin is the day before yesterday.
So, and we can also see that building a nation begins from the home, from the family, from the way those values, those morals, those are taught.
Families.
Exactly.
Private families are the ones who pass on morality and virtues in a nation.
Exactly. So the family is very important, and that's why the state of a family, the state of parenting, and so on. That's why we are focusing a lot. That's why we are, really spending a lot of time on this, because that's where the real issue is. You ignore it, and you're just waiting. You're an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, and you see, for us to say, the schools nowadays, they don't teach the children this. They don't spend any time teaching the children this. You, even if you have a large family, like my husband's family, my mother-in-law had 11.
Exactly.
That's a big family, but 11. You try and think which classroom in our Ugandan school has 11 kids. And by the way, when you have 11 kids, they are not all 9 years old the same year, or 10 years old, 9 and 10 the same year. You may have one who is 13, another one who might be 11, another one might be 10. They might even be a 2-year-old and maybe an infant. So you are dealing with children of different ages who are at different states of learning and have different demands on you. Just try and imagine if all of them are 2 years old. So we are expecting teachers who have maybe a bunch of 15-year-olds who are making you pull your hair out because of their demands, the hormones are working, and all those things that happen with 15-year-old. And this one teacher is dealing with even 11 of them, never mind 40, 50, 60, 100 of them in a classroom. What can that poor man or woman do except abuse them?
Very limited.
So as parents, we are the ones who are best placed to teach those children right from the word go. You know them, you only have a handful of them. Most of us nowadays have 3 or 4 children, There are not many of us who have 11. But
so
even yes,
place.
So you are the best placed person. Yeah. You can know this one person really well and know that this is the way to teach them this is the way to motivate them, and the other one, this is the way to do this.
So family is very critical. So we are talking to the right people who are supposed to do this. All right, let's just do a little bit of definition here. Values, I'll say here, can be defined as criteria for selecting from available options in a given situation based on truth. In other words, there are 10 ways to do something. Which one is right? So your value should help interrogate all those, analyze them, and using the yardstick of truth. Okay, now underline, and I've even put it in bold, truth. Why truth? 3 reasons why truth. And I keep saying this, but let me keep drumming it because we need to get it. Only truth works. All right? Only truth works. Second, only truth is universal. It will work anywhere in the world. And third, only truth is timeless. It never goes old. It never goes out of date. It will always be spot on. So your values then should come and check out of all these things, which one is the right one. Out of 10 options, it will tell you option 7 is the right one. See? So as parents, you need to help your children when they are determining what is right and what is wrong. You need to walk with them through it so that they can know, oh, when you reach this situation, this is the yardstick you use to measure whether something is good or not good. These are things that you can pass on as a parent. And then on the issue of character, there it is. That character is choosing to do what is right, even if you have the opportunity or the right to do what is wrong, even if you will never be found out. So here we need to help our children to be able to do the right thing, even if nobody is there to watch them or to cane them or to catch them red-handed. It doesn't matter. We are to help children to develop these values. These are some of the values or virtues that a child should have. Otherwise, if a child does not, even a person, if a person doesn't have character, they will know the right thing to do, but they will not do it. Instead, they will do what everybody else is doing. They will do what is convenient. They will do what is politically correct, even if it is wrong. They will do what pleases others. So that's why it is very, very important to teach character as something which is very, 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 very important. Now, why are VMCs, by the values, morals, and character, we call them VMCs. Why are VMCs important? Studies have been done, and they found out that all academic qualifications only contributes 15% of our success in life. The staggering 85% comes from our character and our ability to relate with the other people. You see, we've seen academic giants who are failures in life, can't keep a marriage, can't keep a job, can't even take care of themselves, but they're academic giants. You see? So that's why these VMCs are important, because those are the things that are actually going to make your child, make you successful in life.
And character is not built in a day or a weekend or a 22 working day leave. This is daily. These are little things that you keep working on in the life of a child. Simple things, manners. And they say that manners easily and rapidly mature into morals.
Wow, and you need to say that again.
Manners easily and rapidly mature into morals. So we are talking about the simple things you teach your children at home. You teach them to say thank you. Thank you when you give them something. Thank you when you cook a meal. Thank you when you pick them up from school. Thank you when you present to them clean clothes when they left them dirty. Personal grooming, hygiene, learning to eat the right things. We can't always be eating chips and KFC. Every once in a while, we need to eat some dodo and pumpkin and lumonde, rabo.
All that is taught.
Yes, all that is taught. Nutrition. Otherwise, your children will prefer to drink soda and chips and KFC.
That's a terrible lifestyle.
And that's a terrible lifestyle. Nutrition, personal grooming. Somebody knows I need to take a bath. My clothes need a wash.
Saying sorry.
Yes.
You find people in a line, honey.
Excusing themselves when they are leaving the table. Yeah, people in a line.
Yes, in a line.
You find people in a line and you walk to the front of the line as if all these 15 people who are already there don't matter. And it's not just in buildings, but even on the road. You find people in a line. There are 7 cars in front of you, and for you, you think because there's a little space between you and the other cars on the other side, you can now go ahead and overtake these other 7 cars. Why?
Oh, that is character.
Manners, character, simple things. How to make friends. How to wait for your turn when you are talking. How to chew without, making noise. You're chewing your food and everybody can hear.
Yeah.
Those simple things that happen every day at home. So those are the things that we need to teach our children, which become their manners and they become morals.
Exactly. Good. Now, all this I don't have, and I don't really, why VMC is important. Quickly, they'll make you avoid the pitfalls of life. Life has a lot of pitfalls and pitfalls are traps, which you cannot know easily know from your 5 senses.
Yes.
Yeah, recognize you can. Yeah, but your values more will make you avoid those pitfalls. Secondly, they will enable you to reach your maximum potential in life, irrespective of your past, your background, or your circumstances. Thirdly, they will open invisible doors for you or for your children in terms of opportunities of moving them upwards in life. Fourthly, will enable you to overcome whatever obstacle or hindrance or challenge that life will throw at you. All these are things that VMCs will help you to handle.
Yeah, they will help you to succeed in your relationships, particularly that most important relationship, a happy and fulfilling courtship leading to a good marriage and good family relationships.
All those things come from VMCs, yes. It is not how nicely you look or how much money you have. You can have all the money in the world. You can be Miss Universe if there's such a thing, but you will fail in marriage. You will fail in relationship. You fail in family. So VMCs are what actually make that possible. And then to make you fulfill the non-negotiable requirements, that will make you reach your dreams and goals in life. You see, you want to be this, you want to be the other. But if you don't have VMCs, you will never get there. Your lack of VMC will rob you of all those opportunities. Then they'll never become a transformational leader who have a following. Will never succeed to complete campus, those who are on campus or any situation that you're doing.
Talking of becoming a transformational leader, do you know that good manners can boost your confidence? Because other people notice and they comment. They say, wow, you are so well behaved. You are so good mannered. You are, and that builds your confidence.
Absolutely.
And confidence is what makes leaders.
Absolutely. And the leadership guru, John Maxwell, says that before people buy your vision, they first have to buy you, the person. Okay? Before they hear the great things that you are trying to do or the great ideas, first of all, who are you? So once people buy you, then now they want to hear, yes, what are you saying? And you see, it is the VMC that will enable you to be bought. You will be buyable, if there's such a word. You'll be sellable because this is a good man, this is a good woman, is trustworthy, is respectful and all that. So last but one will make you be employable, more,
to maintain to keep a job.
Absolutely. And finally, it will enable you to be able to leave a legacy, Now, we want to end our sharing by now. Well, maybe before that, let me just share some quotations. This first quotation by Satya says, politics without principles, education without character, science without humanity, and commerce without morality are not only useless, but positively dangerous. I mean, let that sink in a bit. Right? Yeah, politics without principles, education without character, science, that they're not only useless, but also positively dangerous. And we don't have time to really reflect on that, but it's very, very, you imagine.
But I think it will come up in another
quote. In another quote, okay. Now, look at what C.S. Lewis, this is one of the great thinkers of the last century. He said, education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make a man a more clever devil. I mean, those are very strong words, guys. But why devil? What's the hallmark of the devil? The devil has only 3 goals. The devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You see, those are the 3 things that the devil comes to do. He comes to steal, he comes to kill, and he comes to destroy. So you imagine, you are training this person with all this knowledge, with all this whatever. So you're making it a very clever devil. So a very good stealer. Okay? You are making a very good thief. And you're making a very good murderer. Huh? You IT,
Have IT, know how to empty people's bank accounts.
People's bank accounts, they're using IT, very clever. And then what about virus? The science, you can know how to kill, and you can actually kill properly.
COVID-19.
Or something. Do you see how without VMC, you're just really a clever devil? And that's why, guys, it is so important that we must begin to deal with VMCs. Look at what our own African leader said, Nyerere.
For unless the character be trained, acquiring knowledge will only prove injurious.
Exactly.
So you may have knowledge, but if you have no character, that knowledge will just injure people, including yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, Hannah, read this for us. This is a letter.
This is the one that explains, education without values, without character.
Yes.
At the end of World War II, this letter was found in a Nazi concentration camp. It is addressed to teachers. And it says, "Dear teachers, I'm a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by land engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and babies shot and burnt by high school and college graduates. So I am suspicious of education. My request is, help your students to become human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, educated illiterates. Reading, writing, arithmetic are important only if they serve towards making our children more humane."
There we are. So we see really that VMC cannot be negotiated. They're very, very important. So finally, how can you as a parent teach this important issue?
Okay, the first one is to be role models. Work on yourselves, mom and dad. Who are you? What are you transmitting, whether you're aware of it or not? What kind of person are you? What are your children seeing? You know, those kids can see right through us. They can see right through us. So be a role model, because the hardest job kids face today is learning good manners or VMC without seeing any. All they see around is bad manners. All they see around is lawlessness. How can they possibly learn good manners? So let's be role models, because actions speak louder than words. And that is why often they copy the wrong things, because we are not role models. We are busy telling them, you're going to get spoiled. Don't do this, don't do that. But we are doing it. So they end up doing it themselves.
Exactly, because 80% of what the child learns from a parent.
Yeah, so work on yourselves and work on your marriage.
Yes. And you know, honey, I think, I don't know that we need to mention this at this point, that in case you have been a bad role model, you have not behaved yourself well, then you need to.
Your record is not very clean.
Yeah, record is not clean. Then you need to take responsibility.
Yes.
Of the bad things that you have done, and actually let your children know that, you know, my children, I think I blew it.
I messed up. I did not live an exemplary life.
Yes.
When I was your age, I made many mistakes. Some of them have landed me where I am. But I am sorry that I did those things. I now know better. And I'm trying very hard to be different. And make sure you're trying hard.
Yes. And so you,
my children, don't do what I did, because when I did that, this is what it got me. Exactly. When I did the other, this is where it ended me.
Yes, there's a father who was dying in Busoga of HIV many years ago. So he told one of his sons, you know, my son, you can see me, I'm dying because of HIV. I encourage you, my son, don't follow my line, because if you follow my line, you're going to die like me. So these things of sexuality, you know, keep yourself sexually pure. You know, then shortly he died. That young boy was in a primary. So he went to secondary in Mwiri and somehow got into contact with our program, which was teaching sexual purity, just as we've been teaching in the boot camp. So that young man decided from that time to abstain, finished Mwiri, came to Makerere, abstained, finished Makerere, went into the real life. That young man eventually got a young lady, married a young lady without sleeping with a woman before. As we are talking now, that young man is a father of several children, and this was his story. I heard this from he himself. So the father used his bad example to be the best example to teach his children of what not to do. So if you have a bad example, don't waste it. Let your bad example be the best example for your children of what not to do, but you must own up.
And by the way, stories are one of the best ways to teach children. Stories that turned around, stories that teach a lesson. It could be your story, like we have just said. It could be a story of somebody else. It could be a story of a good book. Maybe you've read a book that tells a story with lessons. So encourage reading and even read to your children, because stories are good ways to teach.
Then
start from day one. So from the day your child is conceived, you have become a parent.
Yes.
And once you're a parent, you are a teacher. Start teaching. Start teaching. By the time your child is born, you have already started teaching. And you will see the things that are happening, which you can convey. Maybe the sound of your voice teaches your child to learn that mommy is around. It's okay. The sound of daddy's voice, even from when they're still in the womb. So start teaching. If you get off to a late start, You know, maybe some of us have already been mothers and our children, or parents, fathers, our children are teenagers. Start now.
Yes.
Start right away. You may need to take a few steps back, like we just said, a few steps backwards. You may need to apologize, like we have just said, but start now. Don't waste any more time, because whatever time you have lost is already enough.
Then, thirdly, teach out of relationships. Because teaching is not just out of, I said this, mommy said this, daddy said this.
Do as I say.
Yeah, do as I say. No.
You are teaching out of the relationship you have with this child. This child is confident in you. This child can come to you. This child trusts you. This child knows you love them unconditionally.
Then you have the moral authority to speak into their life and they listen.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you don't have the moral authority and all you have is the physical authority, fine. You will be doing this, they'll just do the thing while you are there. The minute you go away, they begin to do their own thing. Or, like they say, you know, you can tell them, stand up, or rather, sit down. But inside their heart, they are standing up. So there you've lost them.
Or the proverbial saying is, when the cat is away, the rats come out to play.
Exactly. So teach out of relationship. Fourthly, parent long term.
So parenting long term means you are teaching them things now which may seem like, bam, this 2-year-old, surely. Now we are telling him that he needs to say thank you, or he needs to clean up after himself. Yes, because it is easier for them to learn these things earlier for later. And also, you need to look ahead and see, what do we want this child to be like, to behave like? What values, what morals, what kind of character traits do we want this child to have when they are teenagers, when they are in their 20s, when they finish, when they become, parents themselves? And then work backwards and begin now in doses that are appropriate for the stage or the age your child is at. So you don't just do now. Think about the future and start working now. When you're building a house, you don't start on the roof. You begin on the foundation, but you already have a plan. The architect drew a plan for you and told you, for the foundation, you do this. The pillars will be there. The house should face this way. The windows. And as you're building, you know where the house is going to face. You know what it's going to look like, the bedrooms, how big, everything. Same with parenting.
And then affirm and reward successes. We are parents who only react when the children have done wrong. But when they do well or they do the right thing, there's no. So affirm them. When they do good thing, affirm them so that they are encouraged to do the right thing.
And Irene mentioned it, that her daughter told her, you are always reprimanding me. And then she started telling her, wow, you did this one well. Well done. You finally, finally maybe may not be a good word, but now you can do it. I've noticed you've worked hard at this and you're getting better. You're not there yet, but you're getting better. Every day I see improvement. Let your children know.
And Irene said that. She said it.
Yes, she has said, let your children know that their effort counts. That their effort counts. Even if they're not scoring 100% yet, you can see that someone who was getting 30 is now getting 35, has now got to 38. Yes. Someone who could not sit down for 10 minutes and concentrate can now sit down for, 10, 15, 20. Reward and affirm. Notice the good things, no matter how small.
Right. Then, finally,
keep at it. Don't give up. For us, we throw up our arms. This kid has defeated me. I have talked and I have talked and I have disciplined and I have punished. This child has defeated me. That child has not defeated you.
Keep at it.
And you don't know at which point they will hear what you are saying.
Exactly.
So keep saying it. Try and say it lovingly. Try and use even other, like
modes of learning. Use stories.
Surround yourself with other friends, adults, like-minded people. Because sometimes you as a parent may not be able to get the word through, but your other friend has a connection with your child, or
Who have similar values.
or the other parent. Your daddy may not be able to get through, but mommy can. Or mommy, you may have failed to get through, but daddy can. Work together. You are on the same team. You are not competing.
Exactly.
Don't sit there and say, ha, now she has done this. Now she's going to make the kids hate me. Now he is trying to make the kids love him more. He gives them more. No, you are on the same team. You're working together. If it works, celebrate the success.
Exactly.
And don't ever give up.
Yes. And finally, in conclusion, much as we live in a world that seems to be very devoid of VMCs, if parents are intentional about being good role models and persistently teach their children VMCs, they will register success in their endeavors. They will be able to raise a generation that will have what it takes to make Uganda a great nation.
Yeah, and just remember that children eventually grow up. So you only have this window, you only have this season. For us now, we are essentially done. We are parenting adults who don't even live with us anymore.
The last 12 years.
Yes. So just remember, it is like running a marathon. If you stay with it, at some point you feel like your heart is going to burst out of your chest. But if you keep running, one of these fine days you will reach the finish line. So keep at it.
So thank you very much. We rest our case. Over to you, moderator.
Wow, what a great, insightful presentation this is. We thank you so much, our dear elders, the Langas, for investing your time to teach us in this. Thank you very much. Please show them some love, appreciate them. For those who have already written in the chat room, thanking them, thank you. We are going to go into a time of question and answer. And we have a question here by Simon Okello, and which I would like to read to you, and probably you will respond to us. Yeah, keep the appreciation coming as we go through the Q&A. Simon Peter Okello is asking, considering that maids spend more time with the children in families where this applies, watching adult content, how does role modeling come to play between the examples set by the maids and then adult content on TV and those set by the parents? How can parents strike a balance here to instill VMCs in their beloved children? Probably you could respond to that as we get more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simon, for that very, very important question, which is very, very relevant because a lot of what you said is actually what's happening today. Now, we go back to the drawing board and we go back to foundations. You see, there's a, now I don't know that we have given it here, maybe we have, maybe we haven't, but there are 3 non-negotiable hierarchies that parents need to observe. The first one, the most important thing in life is our personal relationship with our maker. That is ultimate priority number 1. Not your job, not your spouse, not money, not your children. Number 2, for those of us who are married, once you have a spouse, then automatically your spouse is number 2. Your spouse comes before money, before your career, before anything, only next to your God. Number 3 are your children. Before your job, before you are this, before the other, it is your children. Because of that, as a parent, you need to know that it is your responsibility to take care of your children. Your maid is not the one who is accountable for the parenting of your child. It is you. Therefore, you must play your cards well and see what maid do you have and what can you do yourself. Maybe you may need to actually be there. So that's why that hierarchy is very, very important for you to actually observe. I mean, if your child is abused, I mean, this is your child. You are responsible. The maid is not responsible. The houseboy, the whatever, it's you to see that you parent your child. If you need to be there, be there. Be there. And I don't know if you want to add to this, because really parents. Yeah.
This is kind of a tricky and very personal one, but I shall make it my personal testimony. After I finished university, Steve and I...
In the US, you're a graduate of Boston University. I know you're modest. Yeah.
But anyway, in the process of our courtship, we talked about, when we get married, when we start having a family, when should we start? What should we do? How should we do it? We agreed before we got married that when the children start coming, I will be a stay-home mom. This is my personal testimony. Take it or leave it. Yeah. I will be a stay-home mom. And that's exactly what we did. We started our parenting as soon as I discovered that I was expecting, which was 2 years sooner than we had planned. My goals changed. Now I was going to be at home and raise at that time we were anticipating having 4 children. So there I was, educated in America, which was a very big deal to very many people in the time that I went to school. Nowadays, everybody goes to school in America or UK or Malaysia or India or South Africa. Everybody's studying everywhere. Those days, it was just a few of us. So it was like, what? You went to college in the US and you are sitting at home, and you know what they call it? Doing nothing. I told them I am raising money to buy knickers? I said, yes, I'm raising his children. So I asked him for money to buy knickers. The point I'm trying to make is
we don't hear you.
Might be network, but I'm sure they are coming back. Yeah, they are here.
For a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but anyway. And it says we are muted. Yeah, so where was I? I was so rudely interrupted.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, that was the decision that we made. It was not a very popular decision. The economics did not add up, but we still decided that this is something that we agreed we would do. It was important enough. So I stayed home for those first few years. The kids started going to nursery school. Either way, apart from rent and food, okay, we didn't have a car and we were renting someone else's house. So we did not join the landlords of today. Yes. Nowadays, if you're married 5 years and you don't have a house or at least a plot, it begins to look like you don't have a
but
plot.
For us, it took us 28 years to enter our own house. 28 years.
Even start building it, it took us about that. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, we didn't have a house, we didn't have our own home, but we were renting. And because the pressure was so high, I told myself, does everybody who die in Uganda own a house, Vanange? Maybe we'll be among the number that will not have a home by the time we die. but we have raised our children. Interesting thing is that those same people who are asking us, what's your plan? You people have a plan? What are you doing? Do you have a home? Have you bought a plot? Have you done this? No, we haven't. We haven't built a home. Why? Because we have nowhere to build it. And why not? Because we don't have the money to buy the plot to build it. But we are giving our children the best that we can. And by the way, the most expensive schools are not necessarily the only schools where children pass exams. There are schools that are not as expensive as those top range ones, and kids come from there. Some of us may have even come from those schools where, it's not on the top 10, but you can go there and you pass your exams and you go to a secondary school, which is not one of the top range, and you go to university and you make something of yourself.
But Hannah, the thing is that you need to make the sacrifice.
Exactly. And you need to determine, is it your maid who is going to raise your children? Do you trust her values? Where did you get her from? What does she know? Who taught her? What is she teaching your children? What is she watching with your children?
Honestly. And pornography can damage and ruin it permanently. So really, friends, and Hannah, people would say that you have all this education, and you tell them, why is it that my children are those who are not parented by a graduate mother?
Yeah, who should be parented, who should be looked after by someone that I picked up from.
Yes.
We get most of our mates from the village. We send to our relatives in the village, please send us a girl. Please send us a girl. Not all of them are bad, by the way.
Yes, but not all of them. But the point is that the parent needs to make the decision. But the responsibility is yours. That's what I wanted to hear. Is yours.
The other thing is it's not forever.
It's not forever.
I did it for 5 years with my 2 children. I did it for 5 years.
Then you came in the corporate world.
And then I joined the corporate world and I grew because I didn't have those stresses. Because, when you have a baby at home whom you left on antibiotics, you are calling, it is telling you she's sleeping. Is she still sleeping? Did you give her? What did she do? Has she pooped yet?
You are here working. So anyway, for us, we give you the information.
And you
we cannot tell you because you are not children. We cannot.
So, this is very hard truth. Mukubyenyo, the langas bakubyenyo. It is very hard, but that is the real truth. I can testify of being a homestay mom. I was there for 8 full years. Painful sacrifice. Painful sacrifice. Are you back?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are back.
Okay. Yeah, but I think we had ended on that one.
Yes, we had. Yes,
we had ended on that one. So really, you determine.
Yeah, you determine.
Because yes, you will have less money. You won't have as many shoes. But how many shoes can you wear? COVID showed us that those shoes, when you don't wear them for a month or 2, they begin to peel.
Yeah. But the thing really is that we should not overvalue money, overrate money, overrate development. Good as they are and all that, houses, they are good, but they are not more important than your child. That child is priceless.
Yeah. And frankly, I think God will make it up to you. Absolutely. Because when I finally started working, one of the things that I really kind of longed for when I was a stay-home mom was travel. I wanted to go. Just 2 weeks away, 2 weeks ago, I was in Bangkok, and so I'm still traveling. But anyway, when I got into the work world, when I became a career woman, now the kids are grown, they're in secondary school, I have
There's no worry there.
I can pack and go. I traveled. I really, 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 really traveled. I think I've also been to about 20 countries in the world. Hey, I tell people that God pays you back. And he pays you the arrears, all those years that you are going without a salary. And then He even gives you interest on those areas. At least for me, that is how I felt when I started working.
And Hannah, your friend told you that for you, you have made it.
Yeah, one of my friends, someone whose opinion, counts to me, sent me an SMS one day, and she said that you stayed at home, you were a stay-home mom for many years, but now you have a job that most of us can only dream about. And because this is somebody whose opinion mattered to me, it really meant a lot.
She was a corporate
hearing
woman.
that. Yes, it meant a lot hearing
And
that.
Hannah also, another workmate of yours, told you that you have turned aeroplanes into.
She told me nti kakati gwe obunyonyi wabufuula bu taxi, i.e. I was on planes so often that it seemed like I was taking taxis.
Yeah. So having looked after children. So, okay. So back to you, Tama.
Sorry that took so long.
Yeah.
Yes, we needed that great testimony. And just before you dropped off, I was sharing my own testimony that I chose to leave my job. And I sat home as a homestay mom, took care of the 4 children plus many. And I do not regret any minute that I spent in this painful sacrifice. It is painful, as Aunt Beatrice has explained, but seasons come and go. It is just for a season. And then I was just saying, when they said your maid isn't accountable of the upbringing of your children, it is a very hard truth. And yet it is something we need to take on. We need to balance and love our children and have time for them, just as we have time to make money and do those other things. Thank you very much again, the Langas, for that and the examples and the great testimonies. Another question that we have here, or let me first read someone's submission on the maids. Someone okay, the name is difficult for me, but what they submitted is on that question of maids is take charge of your home, have rules, set a culture and model it, follow through, and then be consistent on what you want of your home. And this is very true. Thank you very much for that comment that you have shared. There is another question in the chat room about single parenting. Olive is asking Mrs. Langa, would you share some insight for single parents on the issue of maids? Maybe you could say something to the single parents in line with maids. And then we proceed. Thank you very much. Aunt Beatrice?
Sorry, I was talking and I was muted.
Sorry.
On the issue of single parenting, that becomes more complicated because the chances are you are earning one income. So there you need to find somebody, a trusted maid, who will be with your children when you are not there, with your child when you are not there. And that may mean that you may have to change maids quite frequently because you're looking for that person who can look after your children, be dependable, be trustworthy, someone who will fill your role. It may also mean that you have to find work that you can do around your kid. The thing about children is that they grow. So the first few years, the first 2-3 years are tricky because your child needs full-time supervision. But after they begin going to school, then you know that there are certain hours in the day when your child is not there. They are in the care of the school. So you need to be also very intentional about the school that you put your child in. The other thing is you work with people who are like-minded. You may find a stay-home mom, maybe who is homeschooling her kid, who is willing to spend some time with your kid, some hours with your kid, where you find ways of also making it worthwhile for that woman so that she can be around your kid. Your parents may be close by. You know, there are some people who take their children to their parents, and your mother may be able to do a better job, or your singer, or somebody, you know, a relative who may have a bigger vested interest in your child than a maid, but you have to be more creative and prayerfully do it. And of course, also the circumstances around your singlehood. Is it because you decided that you don't want to be with your spouse and you separated? You know what? That's another story for another day. But all those things need to be prayerfully taken into consideration. But it just means you have to monitor your maid. You may have to pay your maid more than your neighbors pay theirs, so that they do their work with a little more motivation, because they know that they are getting more money than they will get from the other place. But it becomes trickier. I have to say that.
But it is possible. Yes.
Over, back to you, Tamar.
Thank you very much again for that. Thank you, Simon Peter, for all the questions you're asking. John Paul, thank you for the great encouraging words and kind that you have shared. There is another question from Simon Peter, still in line with homestay moms. He's asking, what about wives who will ask their husbands to pay them salary if they are to stay home with their degrees to prioritize raising the children? Maybe we shall end on that. You could make a comment on that, and then we see what is next.
Go back to a foundational issue now. What is more important to this wife, this stay-home mom who is asking for a salary? The salary or staying home with? By the way, whose children is she staying home with? She's asking for a salary to look after whose children? Because those children, I imagine, are hers. So if you're looking after your children, the payoff, let me tell you, the peace of mind that you have when you know your kids are in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time, that is better than any money you can earn. And I told you, I was a stay-home mom for 5 years. And then for the next 5 years, the children had started school, actually more than 5 years. The children were already, by the way, when I started working, I was essentially volunteering at Yellow Pages, which was the business my husband was running at that time. I was not being paid, but now the kids were in school, so I would leave home, you know, go with the children to school on our taxi. No, don't think I was driving them to school.
No car.
Yeah, we had no car. We take the children to school, then go and work at Yellow Pages with my husband. Then lunchtime comes because they are in nursery school, take the taxi and pick the children and go home with them. Yeah? Go home with them. And then I'm with them in the afternoon until they went into full-time school. That's when I started now looking for a job outside. So really, asking for a salary to look after your own children, my dear, it is not forever. Those children are going to grow and they're going to start school. Why are we so impatient? What is 5 years in the grand scheme of things?
But honey, also, I feel that this person has not the foundation for their marriage and even their parenting is faulty.
So the world has taken a position which is a little bit higher than staying home with the kid, or maybe the husband is a bit stingy.
But honey, I think these people, just understand what marriage is. Yeah, you have a wrong understanding of marriage, because marriage makes you one. You are one, the two of you. Yeah. So if money is needed, so those are things that you discuss between the two of you. So I feel that the foundation already that they're in is not a good one.
Yeah, so that's a foundational.
So those are things we
situation.
need to talk about, to teach you about marriage, what marriage is, and so, because once you understand what marriage is, all these questions will be sorted out about themselves. So it's a foundational matter. Over to you.
So in other words, we would like to encourage the people who are struggling in that area to join CPC, Creative Parenting course, and you will learn much more than even what we are learning here, and some of those things will be sorted. But my own experience in the 8 years that I stayed home to nurture and bring up our children, I did some businesses here and there. I didn't put my husband on pressure to pay me a salary. I am a degree holder, yes, and I didn't put him on pressure to pay me, but I made the choice, and I was creative. I made some business and some income generating projects here and there, and one of them was to offer daycare services, which I enjoyed very much. First of all, I wanted to have my own children in my space, okay? And so our home became a babysitting place. And so that season had 16 children, and it was so beautiful. I had my own children in the space and friends' children, and I was earning some money out of that, which was very good. When the children grew up and started school, I went on and started a pick and drop. That one I did for 6 years, which again I enjoyed very much. And some money, but I was with my children, okay? Our children were in my space. I did not let them to suffer. And right now, the last born is going to be 15 years on Saturday. I'm looking forward. This very month, our firstborn is graduating from here at Uganda Christian University. And the second born is the head prefect at Mengo Senior School. The third one has been chosen as the president of their hostel. I am enjoying the fruits of the labor, of the sacrifice. It was painful, but right now we are like friends. But all these tips, many of them, I got them where? From CPC, and also being intentional in parenting. I do not regret any. So like Aunt Beatrice has shared the testimony, I have friends who can give those testimonies. It is a painful sacrifice, but it is worth it. It's worth it, balancing and giving time to your children and those that are in your reach. We have so many. We parent here at UCU, Uganda Christian University in Mukono, and the results are great. So let us be intentional in our parenting journey and instilling VMCs in our children right from their childhood. I want to thank you so much, everyone, for logging on. I guess it's time for us to move on into the rest of the program. Maybe there was somebody who had their hand up. I don't know if they still have their hand up. Alex, someone had their hand up. Yeah, Nora. Nora, I saw your hand. I would like to give you a minute to say what you want to say before we go into closing. Please unmute and share what you have to share. Nora Alum.
Hello, everyone.
And you tell us where you're logging on from. Thank you.
This is Nora. I'm logging on from Gulu. I'm logging on from
Nora, you turn off the video so that your connection is not affected.
Sorry that Nora's network is not favorable.
My profession.
Ah,
When I was in secondary school, I
okay.
had my teacher. I had one of my teacher who used to tell us about her life experience. And what she would tell us kept us as girls in Nabisunsa to live a pure life that would glorify the name of God. And that time, I was still a young girl who had just gotten born again in senior 2. And so this teacher was very bold, telling us her status of HIV, and we would see the experience from her the skin color, the wounds on her skin, and that kept us to live a moral life. So meaning what the teacher told us, my parents had never told us such, but it kept on in our minds as students. So what am I trying to say? That for us parents who are out there, who are in this seminar today, we should know that we need to be role models to our children. We need to tell them the right things so that by the time they get out of our homes, they know what is, they get to know the things in case they go through such experiences, they're already of the know. So that issues, our schools these days are not really so like those days. But these days, there are so many things that children go through. I am a teacher. What children have a lot of questions that they come with from homes. Parents fight a lot. Parents abuse. Parents have left their children. They actually have no time for them. And so we are forced to answer certain questions for these children. And so we need to reach these children. I personally, people have left children in the hands of the maids. Maids, they have left children in their hands. I had a maid, I think 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But from that time and entering into the creative class, I think it was a divine call that I should join that class. I have learned a lot and I've gotten to know that certain things, the way possibly I was doing it was also, some of it was not right, but I got to know, and this has helped me on handling the teenage boy that I have in my home. And this boy, because of the closeness that I had with him, even now that the creative class helped me a lot in a way that I got to ask more questions and getting more relationship with, getting closer to this young boy. And when I got closer, doing things together, practically cooking, washing plates, washing clothes, cleaning the house, this boy got to learn, and the boy opened up to me. And I got to know very many things that were happening in his school. And so because of that, so many things, I want to thank the camp. He did not go for the booth camp, but I think he met some of you in the MOF camp, which used to take place in Kampala, Seroma. And this boy had already gotten to know his identity in Christ. And so he opened up. We even transferred him away from that school. So parents, let's learn to listen to our children. Whatever they tell us, let us learn to listen to them. Let's be intentional to have time with the children, whether 2 years, whether 3 years, whether 10 years. I think that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Nora from Gulu Apoyo Matek, for your
Welcome.
sharing. Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank those who have been following us on YouTube. I know we have overshot, but I request for just very few minutes to deal with 2 questions, and then we shall have closing remarks or parting shots from our presenters, and then we shall have a closing prayer from one of the participants today. So one of the questions that has come from YouTube is, and this is by Lydia Asasira. It is actually, well, it is a question, yes. She says, thank you so much for the great teaching. I may be able to leave work and be a stay-home mom, but I don't know how to parent my children because even my growing up was very not nice. So we need help to help Lydia. One of the comments maybe I would give her is join the CPC. I'm sure it will help you, but also find a mentor to walk along with to help you in this journey, because it is a journey, not a one person or not a one man's journey, but you can get help from a friend or somebody who can walk with you. The other question is from Fiona Munabi. Her question is, how do you deal with a stepchild that has grown and thrown out the values, morals, and character that they instilled in them? We shall close with those 2 questions. And Mr. and Mrs. Lang, after you have closed with these 2 questions, I request that at that point, you take us through the parting shots. And after which I'll call on someone to lead us in a closing prayer. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. and Mrs. Langa, to respond to the 2 questions.
The one about becoming a stay-home mom when you don't know how to parent, most of the things we do, we learn. So you need to just find the information, find someone who is raising children that you know, pick up, go to marriage fellowships, attend the CPC. Tamar has already mentioned that. So find ways to learn, look for the ways to learn.
Because most people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So get that.
So even attending is a glad
that you can put into practice. That's how parents we learn as we go.
Right.
Then the one about
Munavi, I'm sorry, what was the second one? Help us, Tama. What was the second one?
The second
one was about how do you deal with a stepchild whom you have taught the FMCs, but now has grown up and has gone astray, has left them. Yeah, how do you deal with them?
For that one, once the person has grown up, there's little that you can do. But Proverbs 22, verse 6 gives us the roadmap of parenting, that train a child in the way he should go. When they grow up, they will not depart from it. There comes a season when a child may temporarily go off. But if you've instilled the values at the beginning, they are in there, they will come back. They'll come back. And what you need to do at that time is pray with them or pray for them and just let them know that you still love them. You don't approve of what they're doing now, but you still love them. That must always be the situation. Rather than, now you are this, now you don't belong here, now I've disowned you. Never, never disown your child. The reason why a lot of children go into drugs, into homosexuality, into all that, they are looking for a sense of belonging, because the parent has parented in such a way that the child feels that they don't belong here. And every human being needs a place of belonging. So, much as a child may do a disappointing thing, still let them know that, yes, this matter here, I'm very disappointed. We still love you, we still care for you, and you can still be better. You can still make it. You see, you should never make it that there is no hope. You will never do that to child. No matter how bad, always leave a window of hope that, okay, this is bad here, but you can still make it. You see, you can still make it. It's still possible. Okay, there should always be that window. So once you do that, then a child can go through anything and can be taken through anything. So maybe with that now, Hannah, maybe you can give your party then I can also give.
Yeah, just to say that children are not children forever. You may be in the trenches for 1, 2, 3 children, 5 years, 17 years, 20 years, whatever length of time it will take. Do your best, take one day at a time. And one of these fine days, they will become adults and they will make you proud. So stay with it. They don't remain little forever. Whatever sacrifices you make, you will have a chance to make up for it. And it comes gradually. As they go into school, you'll find that, you don't have to be around them 24/7 like you are with a newborn. They start school, then they are gone for maybe 3 or 4 hours at a time, then they are gone full day, then they go for, 3 months at a time per term. You still think about them, you still plot for them, plan for them, everything, but you will see that the time goes and they grow up and they become adults in their own right, and we bless them and send them out to start their own lives.
Exactly. And finally, for me, what I can say is that this conversation which we're having here is not ending here. We are going to continue it online. So please make sure that you register or you join the link, so that you can be included in the parents' WhatsApp group. The other thing also is for men, we have an ongoing men's mentorship class. We meet every 2 weeks. Every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday, every second.
Every second.
First and well, it varies really.
Yeah.
The last one was yesterday.
Yes.
So the next one is in 2 weeks' time.
Exactly. From 7 a.m. on that Saturday up to 9 a.m.
You just have to stay tuned, yes, so that you know that this is the Saturday. So we skip a Saturday.
But if you can join the WhatsApp group, you can ask that question there and it will be answered so that you are directed to the right place. And I tell you, as men, we are already beginning. Men are testifying. Can you imagine? Like yesterday, the meeting went overboard by, overtime by almost 30 minutes. Can you imagine? Men were there. And, to keep men, how can you keep men? Men usually, they just want, but because it is touching men, just as you heard John testifying, we are working with men. And so if you're a man here, or you're a wife and you want your husband or your son to get, because we even have single men. We have single men, both married men, single men, whatever in between there, all men. We are working because our motto is we don't want to leave any man behind. We don't leave no man behind. So we are working together with those men, and it's really exciting. We are going for 8 sessions or 8 weeks, and we've done 2, but it's not too late. You come, we have a recording, so you come, you can catch up with the the recording, and then we take from there. So we continue this conversation online. Otherwise, our next meeting is going to be a physical one this time. In October, November. November, we are going to have a physical one, the first Sunday of November. And this time it will be earlier because since it is a physical meeting, it will be earlier, maybe 2 or 3, but we shall let you know. So with those words, it's been wonderful being with you. Let's continue to work together to be better parents so that we can shape our children to be better people so that our country can be better. For those who are from outside the country, outside Uganda, we salute you. We thank you for joining in. And we say that let's do this together across Africa. And God bless you very much. Over to you, Tama.
Thank you very much again and again for your sacrifice, for your love for family and marriages. We appreciate you. Just before John Paul comes to pray with us, someone is asking, Deborah, what programs are available for the young adults who missed sound parenting and have limited VMCs? I think this is a question that needs attention, because I know we have for parents, we have the bang and all that, but now how do we handle the young adults who missed sound parenting and have limited VMCs? Maybe just 1 second to respond to that.
Yes,
Then we shall have, yes.
Absolutely. Those as we have bang alumni.
Okay.
Because those who have left university and are now beginning to be in the real world, they're now beginning to court through courtship, they're into marketplace. We have a slot for them, and we have a special group for them. So again, join this particular group, and then we shall direct you there so that you can meet your counterparts with who you can learn VMC. And that's why you can even possibly get a partner, because we are telling, oh yeah, seriously, because by them, I overheard a young person say, an alumni say that, it was a lady, me having gone through bang, whoever I'm going to get as a husband must also be somebody with VMC. And I said, yeah, indeed, because you'll get to know each other there, because you both will have VMC. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again and again. Please, let's give it up to them and appreciate them. Don't get tired of appreciating them with those lovely emojis and flowers and hand claps. We appreciate you so much. I would like to call John Paul Guminkiriza. I don't know where you logged on from, but you have kept the chat room very warm and busy. We appreciate you for the kind comments. Please come and lead us in the closing prayer. And as you come on, ladies and gentlemen, there is a link that was shared for you to join a WhatsApp platform where all announcements are made. For those who are asking about how to join the men's group and how to get the recording, yes, you will get everything. You'll get the recording and whatever it is. So please follow up. Please follow up. And also, Alex, please help John Paul Gumisiriza to unmute so that he can lead us in prayer. Remember to join that WhatsApp group Alex has shared the link, and ensure that you join it so that you can get the recordings and the presentations and all these wonderful announcements. Thank you very much, and God bless each one of you. John Paul, over to you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tama Sembiro, for this opportunity. And Mr. and Mrs. Langa for the insightful discussion, Mr. Alex Wesije, and everyone who has contributed to this insightful discussion on VMCs. Now let us humble ourselves and we pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts for the wisdom and insights shared during this seminar by Engineer and Mrs. Langa, Madam Tama Sembilo, and Mr. Alex Westje, and everyone who has contributed towards this call. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to gather as parents united in the desire to raise children who reflect the values, morals, and character that honor you. Lord, we ask that we take the lessons that we've learned today and help us apply them in our daily lives. Grant us the strength, patience, and grace we need to model integrity, love, kindness to our children. May we be the pillars of support, guiding them with compassion and wisdom as they grow. Heavenly Father, we lift up our families to you, protect our homes, and let your peace reign in our hearts. Help us to nurture a generation that seeks truth, values justice, and walks in righteousness. As we leave this gathering, Lord, go before us and bless each family represented here. May your Holy Spirit continue to guide us, teaching us how to walk in your ways and how to instill values that reflect your goodness. We pray all this in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen and
Mrs.
amen.
Tama, for the
Thank
opportunity.
you very much for leading. You didn't tell us where you logged on from.